So I have the tuile made and kept here, and also the bubble shards are ready, and I also have the cake. So I'm just going to use royal icing. So royal icing, you just follow the recipe and make it a pretty straightforward recipe. And now I've just added the royal icing into a piping bag. I've colored the royal icing to the color of the cake that has been draped with fondant, and that's a dummy. And also I have used these elements to make a wedding cake, a 3-tier wedding cake, to show how I have composed it using these elements. And that's the picture that you're seeing here of the wedding cake. But here in this particular lesson, I don't want to use a 3-tier cake to show how these elements would go on the cake. So I have a single tier right here with me to show how we are going to stick these elements, because these elements are kind of going to be right in front of the cake, and we are not going to get the elements poked inside like on the top. I mean, that's the trick. So, and that trick we could be doing it with royal icing, and obviously for the royal icing to do the camouflaging, we are coloring it to the color of the cake. Now, if you're going to do that to a buttercream cake or a ganache cake, then if it is like the dark ganache, then you will use the ganache itself as your glue. And if you're going to do it with buttercream should be the glue, which is the same color as the tier that you've covered with. And when it comes to fondant, obviously you need some wet cream, and that will be royal icing. Anything on top of fondant and you want to do something that a cream would come in to help, and then royal icing is that cream for you to go on top of the fondant. So I have the royal icing here. I'm just going to snip it open. So first I'm just going to check for the placements to see which element is just going to look good. So obviously you can't be like kind of going on random. We just need to know how is it going to look, and which are the sails that would go together. Now first I'm just going to start placing the bubble shards, and the tuile I'm just going to insert in between the bubble shards and then add the royal icing, so the tuile also just stays in place. I'm just going to go with these two and keeping this at a height at this tall, and then this I'm just going to place it at an angle like that. So I'm just going to keep that one aside, and for this to be at that angle, just going to pipe in royal icing here, and you can see the royal icing is the color of the fondant. I'm just going to go ahead and then press. Now we'll be able to just clean up the royal icing right through. If it just pops out, then we'll be able to just clear it up. So the other one I'll have to check where is it in contact with the cake. So here is where it is in contact with the cake. So I'm just going to add royal icing there. Just pressing it out. So it just takes some time. Now royal icing dries pretty hard, but you just need to allow it the time for it to dry. Now once it dries, then this is just going to be in place. So you just need to give it the time. So when you're going to assemble these kind of elements using royal icing, then obviously that much extra time is what you need to give. So now I'm just picking up the tuile. So I'm just going to see where it goes. I think this one looks good there. Just a little bit of royal icing. So that's a dummy, so it's kind of lightweight. So I'm going to insert this tuile in there pretty gently. And just make sure it sticks well. Now if I find that the royal icing is not enough, then I'm just going to go behind the tuile and just hold it in place. Let me see if it stands. So I'm just going to see if there is another tuile, if I could just place it, say in between this gap. I'm just going to add a little bit onto the edge here. And just very gently hold this tuile. This looks good. Maybe a bit of movement here on the top will be good too. So just want to check if this one goes good on the top. I mean, it looks good to me. So now this I'm just going to add onto the top there. So I'm going to get some royal icing there. Also, it is a good idea to just score it up a bit, make space for this sail to be inserted. So I'm just going to get the knife. Just making a bit of gap here. And then about some royal icing as well, so it will just hold it in place. Just going to check for the position. Then just insert it there. And see if it would stay, or just try and push it inside a bit more. And you could take the help of the knife if you still need to cut it. Obviously, if it is a cake, it is just going to pass through easily. While it is a dummy, then you could just take the help of the knife. So I think this looks good. And if it was a 3-tier cake, then we could just go on and then compose a little more movement, because there will be tiers like the one you're just seeing in the pictures there. But then that's how you kind of get these elements sticking on to the front of the cake and as well on the top. And these are elements that you could put together for having a different kind of cake. It's a single tier by itself, or it can also be a multi-tiered cake, and you can have another wedding cake. So with this, we come to the end of this lesson. I will catch you up in the next one.